Now at 5, our first look from above at the neighborhoods destroyed by the massive Valley Fire. Block after block of burned out homes, now just piles of ashes.
Also, fire investigators zeroing in on where this deadly fire may have started. We have extended coverage from the fire zone.
But first, here's where things stand right now. The Valley Fire just keeps growing. It is up to 67,000 acres. Firefighters are slowly making some progress. They have it 15% contained. Some of the evacuation orders are being lifted, allowing people to go home for the first time in 3 days. But for many, their worst fears are being confirmed. And tonight, a new problem. Reports of looting in evacuation zones. We'll have more on that in just a moment. But first, the latest look at the burn area. We just received this updated map, and you can see how much had burned yesterday. And look at how the fire has expanded as of today. At 95 square miles, it is nearly as large as the city of Sacramento.
And a live look right now at the firefight from Chopper 5. This is our first good look from above at what's been taking place on the ground. The past couple of days, the sky has been filled with smoke, and it's been so bad. CAL FIRE has been unable to launch its planes and choppers, but today they were finally able to call in air support. And here's a look at what our chopper found just about 30 minutes ago in Middletown. The devastation has been just incredible. Homes have burned down to their foundations and are nothing more than piles of rubble. We've seen cars burn through, trees charred with no leaves, and every once in a while you'll see random homes that did survive as the fire ripped through.
We have a series of reports on the Valley Fire, and our Juliette Goodrich is heading up our coverage. She is in Middletown for us tonight. Juliette?
Alan, today we're hearing the personal stories, people returning back home. I am in front of the Sanchez's home in Middletown, and this is what is left. And late this afternoon, they returned home to see what was left. Now, we just learned in the last few hours the exact point where the fire started. It's at High Valley and Bottle Rock Roads in the community of Cobb. And this is what that area looks like tonight. Investigators are looking at a burned out shed next to a two-story home. The house is okay, but the hillside below is charred, leading investigators to believe the fire started in or around that shed. Now, CAL FIRE is calling in all the resources it can to get the Valley Fire under control. It's bringing in more bulldozers and firefighters. Right now, more than 2,300 are battling the flames. PG&E is busy as well. Now, the fire brought down lots of power lines. About 7,200 customers do not have the electricity tonight. We come back here live. This is the Sanchez home, and it's a personal story of what they came back to, and we watched and talked to them as they saw firsthand. The Sanchez's returned home for the first time. They had to evacuate their Middletown home with their 3 children when fire closed in.
It's okay, it's just material. Family, so it's all good. Our kids, we met her on time.
They came back to look for valuables, some jewelry and coins, but they say they have their health and the health of their children, and that's really all they need. Many parts of Middletown were spared. This is downtown Middletown. Now, a lot of people returning back thought the entire town was destroyed by fire, and that's not the case. In fact, if you look here, this business across the street, a hair and nail salon, is still intact. Next door, the exterior of the flower shop was burned, and yet 1 block from downtown, an entire neighborhood and this apartment complex gutted. Craig Eves works at Hardester's, one of the only markets open in town. His home burned to the ground. He says he came to work to help others, many who didn't have money to buy items.
The ATM was down. If somebody came in and needed supplies and they didn't have cash, we couldn't run a card. So we just took and we wrote their name and address and all the information on it and said, come back when you can.
Now, as if all of this destruction isn't bad enough, there's another worry for evacuees tonight. We're going to turn to Emily Turner now for that part of the story at the Napa Fairgrounds in Calistoga. Emily.
Juliette, as if these folks don't already have enough to worry about. They're living in tents behind me, have many of them for days. There's stuff in the back of their cars. There's stuff that's still at home that they had to leave behind. If it's made it, now they have to worry about what happens to that.
Oh no! Bill's house is gone! Oh, son of a gun.
The destruction in Lake County is overwhelming. But for those like Forrest Brumfield, whose homes have been spared, there's another concern on the heels of the first: looting.
You already feel devastated because your whole community has been destroyed. And even though you still have a place to go, to have it been violated or to have it looted then anger would happen.
We took Forrest to check on her home. It's fine, but Lake County Sheriff Brian Martin says anything still standing is a wide open target. Already they've made several arrests for looting, and calls for others are flooding in.
It's disgusting, unfortunate that people would take advantage during a time of crisis like this to take advantage of people.
Those people are folks like these, stuck in the evacuation center, waiting for word about their homes, or better, the chance to go back to them. But the sheriff says until he knows they'll be safe from things like downed power lines, they need to stay put.
I wish I had better news. I wish I could tell you could come home right away. But unfortunately, we won't sacrifice safety. These are things that are lost. Even the looting, these are things that are lost. You can't replace lives.
As for the news about when those folks may be able to go back to their homes, that may be coming right now at 5 o'clock. A briefing started here at the evacuation center, which I'm going to head over to in just a moment. So hopefully for the folks behind me, they'll at least have some good news tonight. Juliet?
Absolutely. Emily, thanks so much. Let's go now to Joe Vasquez. He is also in Middletown. And Joe, while in Emily's story, that woman was able to go back to her home and it was still there, I know that you have a much different story of people going back and nothing was there.
Yeah, for the most part, people are not allowed in without an escort, and sheriff deputies have spent the day escorting families right back into this fire zone. Many people not knowing what they were going to see when they got here. Imagine arriving back to this.
It's just devastation.
Kenneth Gingrich brought his family back.
That's my riding lawnmower.
To see what's left of their two-story home of 21 years.
All the garage hardware.
Not much.
This was a flower garden that my wife had just planted. And oh my God, look at the framework came loose, came apart.
They're back for the first time since the fire came screaming down over the hill Saturday, and they had to leave quickly to save their lives.
I still can't fathom that this really happened. I have a home, and I just want to go home at the end of the day, and I can't. And that's the way I feel. I can't go home. I have no home anymore.
We didn't expect this. I mean, we thought there'd be something. But as you can see, there's nothing. It's beyond belief.
People keep saying it's just stuff, but it's not just stuff. This is my life. This is my livelihood and things I've collected my whole life. I lost my Letterman's jacket from high school in the fire, and I know that's menial compared to a lot of things, but to me, that's one of the sentimental things that mean a lot.
The Gingriches also lost some pets in the fire, but they still have their lives and their strong family, and they know that's what's most important.
We saved each other's life and we got out of here alive.
That's
what's important to me.
All right. So let's start over. I mean,
we're going to rebuild.
Stuff can be rebuilt. Stuff can be rebought.
You know what? It's my property. What else would I do?
What else would you do? Heartbreaking, and that's going to be the story for hundreds in this area. But I have to tell you that we also met some people who got home and found their house intact, also surprised. That was emotional as well. Quickly, I'll tell you that people are just being brought in for about a 15-minute period to check on pets and livestock, so it's short-lived. They've got to get right back out. We'll bring you more of these stories coming up at 6 o'clock. Back to you, Juliet.
All right, Joe, thank you. And a lot of people I talked to in Middletown were telling me that they had seen images on Facebook and YouTube, and they thought their entire town had burned, and that's not the case. So some people are coming back pleasantly surprised, and others, like the Sanchez's, are coming back to see what's left of their home of 10 years. There is a silver lining, though, all of them saying that they're so happy that they have their health and their children got out safely and that they are okay. Now, Alan and Veronica, coming up at 6 o'clock, we're actually going to take you. One of our reporters goes to Cobb Mountain to get a closer look at where this fire started, and some amazing pictures. We get a better look and a better sense of the origin of the fire at Cobb Mountain, and we'll have that coming up at 6 o'clock.
All right, Juliet, sounds good. Juliet Goodrich live for us in Middletown. Thank you. And some good news right here. Mother Nature is actually coming in to help with these firefighters, right, Paul?
Exactly right. We could use a little bit of rainfall. That's exactly what will be falling from the sky directly over the Valley Fire this time tomorrow. It is windy tonight. Humidity levels are higher because it has been cool, will continue to be cool, but the big headline is rainfall. It will be raining in Mendocino County and Lake County tomorrow. Matter of fact, ahead of the actual front, about 24 hours ahead, we are seeing a few light showers along Highway 128, 175, and Highway 29. Currently in southern Lake County. Futurecast painting a wonderful picture. It's not really the rainfall in San Jose and San Francisco, which will be markedly less than the North Bay. Look at the rain up toward Ukiah. There is the potential now for a 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch of rainfall. That would help out firefighters tremendously if that verifies tomorrow. We'll talk more about the rain coming up.
All right, we'll look for that. Thanks, Paul. That is good news. Well, fire crews, some other good news, making progress on 2 other California fires. Southeast of Sacramento, the Butte Fire in Amador and Calaveras counties is now 37% contained. However, this fire has destroyed 166 homes. 6,400 homes still considered threatened by it. It now covers 72,000 acres. And east of Fresno, near Kings Canyon National Park, the Rough Fire is about 40% contained. It has been burning for more than a month and has blackened almost 140,000 acres. Evacuation orders in parts of Fresno County have been lifted, and wet weather has helped crews get a handle on that fire.
The donations keep pouring in to help victims of the Valley Fire. Volunteers at Faith Lutheran Church in Danville were busy sorting food that's being dropped off for fire victims. People are also donating pet food. The Red Cross says right now it really needs cash donations. You can call in a donation right now to 1-800-RED-CROSS or go to redcross.org and designate your gift to victims of the Valley Fire. You can also text Red Cross to 90999 to give a $10 donation to the Disaster Relief Fund.
Well, still ahead, an ugly incident after the 49ers game in Santa Clara. It was caught on video, a fight in the parking lot between rival fans. What happened just before the punches started flying?
It's a dream convention for Salesforce workers. How it's become a nightmare for people trying to get around San Francisco.